Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I am of course your host, Jack Knives. And welcome back once again to True Crime Month. Today I will be reviewing the Hulu miniseries, The Dropout. The Dropout is a Hulu miniseries about the foundation and scandal behind Theranos, a medical organization created by and manipulated by a sociopath named Elizabeth Holmes. From its original foundings to the very end of Theranos as a whole, and how they swindled millions of Americans to get billions of dollars. So unlike The Girl from Plainville, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the length of this series, solely because of the fact that the whole case of Theranos is a very complicated and very detail-oriented thing to look upon. The shady business practices, the subsequent harming of others, and just the overall swindling of millions. And it's just a lot to unfold. But at the center of it has always been Elizabeth Holmes. Now, what makes Elizabeth Holmes a very fascinating person is her almost dead-like eyes, her almost dead-like expression of constant deadpanness, and her very monotoned voice, which is meant to evict some sort of visceral power like men do in the business world. What I was so shocked about was Amanda Seyfried being cast as Elizabeth Holmes. Now, I'm familiar with Amanda Seyfried from a bunch of other things, but she's never really done anything, in my opinion, that's been like majorly noteworthy as an actor. Primarily, she's kind of either the ditzy girl or kind of just the every girl. But here, she got Elizabeth Holmes down perfect. There are so many things she had to know going into this project that she could pull off. She has Elizabeth's monotone down pat, like to a scary level of degree. And there's parts where she'll talk to herself in the mirror and practice her vocals, practice her speeches, and you can see the inner workings of the twisted mind that Elizabeth Holmes actually had. She didn't want people to see her as weak. She idolized people like Steve Jobs, and it's kind of funny in hindsight because so many people did idolize Steve Jobs, but his success benefited from the pain and suffering he inflicted on others, and it's kind of weird. This whole production has a gigantic cast of greats, including my personal favorite, Stephen Fry. And there is just so much going on in the story of Theranos that it's almost like an impossible task to try to explain it to the common everyman. But this series does a really great job at doing it. I'd recommend, if you haven't really read up on the case of Theranos, there's a great video by Illuminaughti I'll put down below that you should check out, and it pretty much overviews everything and simplifies it if you want to go in to seeing this. The only real major downside to this miniseries is there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of detail, medical, and technical science jargon that the average everyday viewer may not necessarily be interested in. They do a good job of fleshing it out without seeming too dumbed down, but there are parts where it could be a little bit boring, especially in the early parts of the miniseries. Once it gets about to episode 3, it starts picking up a lot more after that. But again, that's not really a huge downside. The other issue is it's not quite like, if you're looking for true crime, yes, it does technically fall under it, but it's not as though they necessarily involved a murder or anything, but they did involve the harming of others. Again, it's a pretty complicated case. It is worth watching and looking into if you are interested in those sorts. There's multiple documentaries about it, and Elizabeth Holmes herself is very much a disturbing person. And I do think Amanda Seyfried did capture that very, very, very well. I give The Dropout 4.5 out of 5. Have you seen The Dropout? Let me know in the comments down below. Keep on enjoying True Crime Month. You know what to do. I'll see you next time.